For show and tell this week, I have the Mokwheel Asphalt ST e-bike. It's a commuter e-bike with a sleek, step-through design. The battery is hidden in the frame. But what makes this one unique is the intelligent torque and cadence sensors, which basically work together. According to the company, the range is up to 60 miles. Max speed, they say, is up to 28 miles an hour, but I will be testing that. It's got a small but bright headlight in the front, a brake light in the back, but what's really cool are these two built-in brake lights. Next up, I'm gonna assemble the bike. I'm also gonna show you how to use the bike, like what all the different buttons do and how to get it into the menu. If you don't want to watch that, go ahead and skip it and go straight to my test ride.
I normally dress a lot cuter than this, but it's like 35 degrees in Florida and I am so cold. And after this summer's electric bills, I am not gonna turn on the heat. But to be fair, it's only like 58 in the house, which is freezing for a Floridian. Looks like assembly is gonna be pretty easy. But first, I wanna see what's inside of this box. I like how they have the tools laid out. Some zip ties in case some cables are loose. Oh, a gift card. Join the group and win free gifts with this QR code. So I guess it's not entirely a gift card, but maybe it is. User manual. Let's see the pictures. Oh, the pictures are good. Nice, clear photos on some quality glossy paper. What are these little, wow, that's a lot of screws and things. I've never seen so many little packages of screws and parts and things, and each one is labeled. I really hope I don't need to use most of this. Oh, more tools. Screwdriver. Metal pedals. The headlight. And lastly would be the charger. And for those that want to see the specs, go ahead and pause the video. First, I'm gonna install the handlebars, but I need this facing the other way. So there's a couple of screws right here I'm gonna loosen up. And then rotate this to the front. I can always readjust this later. But for now, I think it's straight enough. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these back down. Next, I gotta remove these 4 screws. This top piece here can be adjusted as well to change the angle of the handlebars. There's a little screw at the bottom, so you just loosen that up a bit, a little bit more than that. And now I can move this around, but I'm not really sure why I want it yet. So now making sure these are facing the correct way, I'm gonna plop this onto here, stick this piece back on, and then screw those 4 screws back in. In here is the little screen that mounts to the handlebars, but I'm not gonna attach that yet, and over here are some buttons. I'm gonna flip those to the other side, and then I'm gonna flip the bike to install the front wheel and remove the battery to make my life easier, because the batteries are heavy. 14.79 ampere hour. And there's a little power button at the top. It just makes these little lights green right here. Maybe that's just to show the battery life. Sometimes there's a button to actually turn on the battery, but I don't see a button like that. Oh yeah, the seat. I usually like to have this on there before I flip the bike. And now over here, there's this little plastic doodad. Once this is out, do not hit the brakes. And I gotta remove this too. Before you install the wheel, you may wanna install the fender and the headlight first, but I usually do that after the wheel's already on. Now I'm gonna remove the nuts from both sides and the washer. This metal thing here is the rotor. Try not to touch it with your hands and get oils all over it. So now I'm gonna stick that between the brake pads. Wow, it's so much easier with the bike upside down, but half the time I'm just not gonna lift these bikes. They're so heavy, but this one, not bad at all, especially with the battery out. This is the same for both sides. First, I put the washer on and then the nut. This part is very important. Tighten down those nuts, like as hard as you can. And in this swarm of baggies, there's one with rubber caps for these hubs. I guess they're called hubs. I've been calling them nuts. I usually struggle to get these on, so oftentimes I don't even put them on there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and install the fender and the light. So that just goes in like so. And then the light will go there as well, behind this thing. And there's just this one screw here that holds both of them in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out. Skewer the light. skewer the fender and tighten it back down. And as you're doing this, make sure the fender is like as high as it can go, because if it's too low, it's gonna scrape the tire. And then to attach the rest of the fender, I have to remove this screw right here on both sides, skewer this, and screw it back in. And now I can connect the light. And now I'm gonna take the screen and attach it to the handlebars. Oh yeah, and the buttons that I moved over, I'm gonna put them back into place and screw them down. The rear rack is mostly attached, except for one screw over here. And that screw is already in the frame. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it out, skewer this, and screw it back in. And finally, the pedals, they are labeled right and left. The right one screws on clockwise, and you definitely wanna use a wrench for this. And then the left one screws on counterclockwise. And I guess now would be a good time to stuff the battery back in. To turn the bike on, you hold down this top button right here. It takes a little bit. Pretty decent little screen. I was able to see everything, no problem, even in the sunlight. But what's really nice is the menu. So it's pretty standard how you get in there. You hold down plus and minus at the same time. A lot of times the menu systems can be really confusing, but I like how this is laid out. To get into the first one, brightness, I'm just gonna click on the power button. Right now I do have it set on the brightest level, but you can adjust that with the plus and minus buttons. The next one down, you can change it from miles per hour to kilometers. And there's startup mode. Not sure what the difference is, so let's put it on safe mode and see what happens. Yeah, I don't really see a difference, because there really isn't any difference until you start riding the bike. So in safe mode, it requires pedaling to start the motor, which means if I hit the throttle right now, it shouldn't go forward. Nope, and it's on pedal assist 1, but I prefer free mode, so free mode it is. And here you can reset trip, and finally, language. And there's several options. Wait, is that finally? Oh, no, there's one more, but that just shows you the version.
To turn on the lights, there's a separate little light button right there. So you click it, a little icon appears on the screen, and all the lights are on. So the front one, this rear light, and these are pretty cool. I love these rear lights that are built into the frame. And even though I'm not showing it, they do get brighter when you hit the brakes. This bike is equipped with a walk assist mode. So you just hold down the down button and the bike will go forward at a slow pace so you can walk next to it. Let's see how fast this bike goes. On pedal assist mode with me pedaling, max speed is supposed to be 28. And using throttle only, max speed is 20. So first I'm gonna pedal, and I have it on the hardest gear to pedal in, gear 7. Let's see how fast it goes. Oh yeah, and I'm also gonna put it on pedal assist 5. Full electric mode, throttle only, pedal assist 5. On full electric mode, it did cap at about 20 miles per hour, but on pedal assist mode, I don't think I got it to 28. It was just over 27, about 27.2 miles an hour. Around that 23 to 25 mile per hour mark, it kind of feels like it cuts off power and it's not going to go any faster no matter how hard you pedal. And I feel like it's switching between, and it's supposed to do that, between cadence and torque sensor, kind of depending on what you're doing. But no matter how hard I pedaled, there was no way I was going to get it to 28. Even on the hardest gear to pedal in, it just kind of felt like there was absolutely no more resistance on the pedals. So I guess my feet were just kind of spinning in circles at that point. I did try the speed test twice, but I didn't film the second time, and I couldn't get it to reach 27.2 again. I would say it goes to about 25 miles an hour. Maybe I should explain the cadence torque sensor thing a little more. When I'm pedaling harder
to get to a certain speed, I feel like it's a torque sensor. When I just want a smooth ride and I'm just consistently pedaling the same speed, it feels like a cadence sensor. So maybe I should explain the difference between the two. So torque is how hard you're pedaling, and with cadence, it really doesn't matter how hard you're pedaling. As long as you're pedaling, it'll maintain a certain speed. No matter what pedal assist mode I have this on, it doesn't matter for the throttle. It caps the speed at the max speed. You don't have to go to the max speed, like you don't have to push that little lever down all the way, but it's 20 miles an hour max speed, any pedal assist mode. And for pedal assist mode, normally these bikes cap the speed. It'll be like 10, 15, 17, for example, for each pedal assist mode. But with this one, the harder I pedal, the faster I can get it to go. So on pedal assist 1, I got it to about 22 miles an hour. Pedal assist 2 like 23, 3, 24. See where I'm going with that? It doesn't seem to be much of a difference between them, except it's harder to get there on the lower pedal assist levels. Like, I have to put more effort into it. This is definitely not an off-road bike. It's more of a city commuter, but that doesn't mean it can't go a little bit off-road, just nothing too crazy. There is suspension in the front, and with the flip of this little lever right here, you can completely turn the suspension off and have a more rigid ride. Normally for the hill test, I start off with this hill, but I think I'm going to start off with something a little smaller. This one here is about 25 to 28 degrees depending at its steepest point, depending on which part of it you go on. This next one's about 15 to 16 degrees. Although it doesn't really look like it from this angle, does it? So let's do a little off-roading with this commuter bike. I think it'll be fine. I got it on pedal assist 5. I'm gonna use the throttle to get going, and then I'm gonna pedal up this hill, hopefully. Yeah, I know I should have it in gear 1 for hills. So here's gear 1, pedaling. That's much easier, but it did just fine on pedal assist 5 as well. Yeah, it's definitely not an off-road bike with a name like Asphalt ST.
This has a Shimano 7-speed gear shift system. And because it switches between torque and cadence, having those gears can be helpful, especially going up a hill. But since it is an e-bike, you really don't need to mess around too much with these. Asphalt ST is equipped with hydraulic disc brakes. These are Tektro HD E350s. And you can tell they're hydraulic because of this little mineral oil reservoir. E-bikes are heavy in general, but for an e-bike, this one's not that heavy. It's only 63 pounds. The motor is in the center of the rear wheel. It is 500 watts, but peak power goes up to 860. 70 Newton meters of torque. On a single charge, you can get about 50 to 60 miles out of the battery, but that depends. Are you on pedal assist 1, pedaling on flat paved ground with no wind, and you don't weigh the max payload that this bike can carry, which I believe is 300 pounds. It's either 300 or 400. I think it's 300, but if I'm wrong, I'll pop that up on the screen. So in ideal conditions, you can get up to 60 miles. If you're using it in full electric mode, then it's gonna be about half that, maybe like 30, 35 miles out of a single charge, and that again is flat paved ground. So I am 5'8", 5 feet 8 inches. They claim that the bike fits riders 5'2" to 6'2", but if you're 6'2", you probably should be getting a large frame. This is not a large frame. I don't know what size it is, but I can tell because my personal bike, I have a Trek, is a large frame. I think it's a really nice bike. It does not feel cheap. I've reviewed one of their bikes before and I was pretty impressed. It's got a really sleek design. I like how it's got this hidden battery, which is very nice, and it's very user-friendly. It's even got a nice menu system. A lot of times you get into the menu and it's like P1, P2. I don't want to pee, I want to ride a bike. What even is that? If I lose the manual, I guess I can find the manual online, but it's too complex. This is very nice. I know I always say I love fat tires, but I also like big wheels. I mean, big wheels and fat tires are ideal for me, but these are nice. They can't roll over everything,
but pretty stable so far. I mean, it's not an off-road bike. I did have a little bit of an issue, you know, where like the road meets the curb and there's that little uneven area. It did slide around on that a little bit. And speaking of sliding around, the seat is very smooth. I'm sliding around in that as well. Maybe it's these pants I'm wearing. I mean, everything. I mostly wear polyester. Probably not the best idea, but it's very slippery. It's a very slippery seat. Comfy, but slippery. Alright, so that's pretty much the end of the video. Oh, I did not mention price point. Right now, as I'm filming this, it is $1,200. $11.99 and 99 cents. But if I have any coupon codes, those will be down below in the video's description. So now it's cheesy outro time. I'm sorry. Toodaloo-loo. Bye. I hope to see you in the next one.